Hi everybody, welcome back to Arma Reforger, and in this video I want to show you how to use the rather confusing local chat and radio function in the game, because it is a little bit confusing to say the least. So the first thing you need to know is how to turn the radio on and or off, and the way you do that is you press and hold your top left shoulder button LB and then tap X. And then you see at the bottom of the screen the radio pops up. Now fairly quickly you've got to adjust it, and you have to adjust it to the frequency you want to be on as we go up and down. Now we can press X to turn it off and X to turn it back on again. Now you say, well, how do I know which frequency I should be on? Well, if you look at the when you first start a game, you'll see which group you choose to join, and they will have a frequency. So for example, I'm here by myself, but if you look in the middle, it says my frequency is 44.5 megahertz is the one I'm on, but the group I'm in is 39 megahertz. So if I want to chat with my teammates, I have to tune into 39 megahertz. Now the beauty with Arma Reforger is that different groups of people on the same side can have different frequencies, so you can all be chatting on different frequencies. So if you get super organized, you can even have a situation where squad leaders are on one frequency, and they would switch to their squad frequency, so you could have the squad leaders talking together about the objectives, and they could then communicate it to their squads. Okay, so let's just come out the pause menu, so we can make sure that, you know, so we're on, and let's say we need to be on 46 megahertz, so that's good, so our radio is on. So now a lot of it is to do with the top left shoulder button LB. Now if you just tap LB, you'll see it says speaking and it disappears. If that happens, that means that you're using the push to talk method. So when you want to speak, you push to talk. Now when it says speaking like that, you're not using the radio, you're just using the local talk. So it's proximity chat. So if anybody's sort of within talking distance of you, they will be able to hear you. But this just isn't just friendlies, enemies will be able to hear you as well. Now if we tap the top left shoulder button LB, we'll go over to the radio. So we're on the radio, so now we have to push and hold top left button. See that now? So that means we are now talking on the radio to everybody else who is on that frequency. So we can Charlie attacking B, you know, or I've got enemies approaching from the north to C. And then when we release the top left shoulder button, it will disappear. Now, if you press the top left shoulder button, keep it pressed and tap B on your controller, it will now go on to constantly transmit. So you see how it's not disappearing? So my fingers, I don't have to press and hold LB to transmit. It's constantly transmitting. And if I tap LB, so tap the top left shoulder button, it goes on to proximity chat. So now I don't have to worry about it. So I could leave that on all the time. Now, this isn't always a good idea, because if there's any noise on your mic or noise in the room that you're playing in, there's background noise from traffic or anything like that, that will come over the speaker, you know, on the radio or on the proximity chat, and your teammates will hear it, and that can be quite annoying. So again, press and hold LB and tap B to turn that off, and you'll see it disappear. So now I've gone back to push to talk. So I tap to go in between the radio and the proximity chat, and then to use it I press and hold, and then I'll only talk when I press and hold. It takes a little bit getting used to, but once you kind of get used to it, it's pretty easy. So let's go over that one more time. So if you want to turn the radio on or off or change the frequency, you press and hold LB, the top left shoulder button, and then you tap X, and that appears, and then you can adjust the frequency up and down on your D-pad, or turn the radio on and off with X, and then you tap your top left shoulder button to switch between the radio or proximity chat, and then when you want to talk, you press and hold the top left shoulder button. If you want to come out of push to talk and go to continuous, you press and hold the top left shoulder button LB, and then tap B, and that is now on continuous. And I can just tap the top left shoulder button to switch between radio and proximity chat. So once you practice a few times, you'll get used to it. And again, I recommend that you just go with push to talk, so that you don't, say you start chatting to someone else or your phone goes off, people won't hear it. Now I'm going to leave you with a couple of interesting things that might well blow your mind. So the radios that we have as the Americans or the Russians are they're coded, so the enemy team can't just tune in on your frequency and listen to you. In fact, I don't think they even cover those frequencies. However, if you recover a radio from an enemy, you can use their radio to listen in on them. How good is that? Obviously, you'll have to scan through the channels because you won't know which channel they're using, but you can use that. And here's my second bonus tip. All the clothing that you wear in Arma Reforger can be taken off and swapped. So if you find an enemy dead body, you can take their clothes off them and you can dress up as an enemy. Just think about that, how that affects, your ability to infiltrate enemy lines. Got to be careful you don't get shot by your own team, but so you can appear, for example, as a Russian with a Russian helmet on when you're actually an American. Pretty amazing. So there we go. My radio hints and tips for Arma Reforger. Hopefully that's useful. If it has been useful, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and I will of course see you again soon.